Such a privilege to be able to speak to Abraham van Rooyen today as part of the Africa Agri-Tech Conference. Thank you, Abes, for sharing your journey with the ClemenGold brand with us.
Oh, Anlie, very nice to be here and a privilege to participate. What a pity I can't attend in person. Unfortunately, I had prior commitments.
Abes, of course, the brand needs no introduction. It's a familiar sighting on shelves the globe over. Tell us a little bit for context about the start of the ClemenGold journey.
Well, the story actually started in 1963 when the variety Ndorquat was bred by Mr. Ndori in Morocco. We found or had information about this by 1990 and started negotiating with the Moroccans until 1999. So a long period to only get the genetic material into the country. After we evaluated and started commercializing the variety in 2002, we realized that this is really a special product, and the ClemenGold story started from then onwards.
So I had a little bit of a look at your history, and the internationally trademarked ClemenGold brand celebrates its 20th birthday this year, so congratulations. And last year, it won the Asia Fruit Logistica Fresh Produce Marketing Campaign of the Year award, so congratulations again. With the inclusion of several high-quality mandarin varieties with different ripening periods and fruit supply from Northern Hemisphere grower partners, its window of availability is almost all year round, and that's naturally something to be proud of for any fresh produce brand. In South Africa, it has a long-standing and highly mutually beneficial exclusive retail relationship with high-end retailer Woolworths. Incredible to be able to celebrate so many successes over 20 years. And with all these successes, surely it means that you've been doing something right consistently throughout. What are those things?
That is a long journey, I must say. So it's almost 30 years since we started working with the variety. Understanding the product, I think, is very, very important. How to grow it, where to grow it, on what rootstocks to plant it, what growers you select, and also developing specific protocols to produce consistent quality. So I'll talk a lot about the product and what it entails to actually get the product into a box and then eventually to the end customer. We had to, if one looks at it, there was almost 8 billion rand invested by various parties on the farms, into nurseries, pack houses, new pack house technology, and then the investment in the brand itself. Key learnings from this was so difficult to have a big dream and lack of capital. So that was a major stumbling block from not scaling the product or the idea quicker. So the 20 years could have been shorter if we had more conviction in the initial stages and could convince investors, growers, the banks to back the story. And then also, I'm a horticulturist, and in my genes and my blood flows thick with the growing side of the business. And to scale and bring the whole concept of branding and marketing and think international to commercialize this over so many countries. We in 63 different countries. We in 110 different supermarkets. All the different languages you have to deal with was quite a formidable but very exciting and stimulating endeavor. It wouldn't have been possible if we didn't pick very good partners in the distribution, the marketing, and then the staff to get the people on board and to adopt the correct technologies on farm, in pack house. This was quite a challenge, and we're still evolving and developing in that front.
Abes, I want to get to your marketing journey in just a moment and pause briefly with your brand and business positioning focus. No journey is perfect and hindsight is 2020. So looking back, is there anything you would have done differently?
I think a key learning was that we didn't focus enough. We went into too many supermarkets and tried to stimulate demand when we didn't have enough supply. So that was a key learning. A second one would be to do more research. The world is a big place, and we squandered quite a lot of time and energy trying to launch a ClemenGold brand into the UK market. And the supermarkets there are notoriously anti-brand, grower brand or third-party brands. So we spent a lot of time and effort there, where China and Russia and America and lots of other places in the world and the supermarkets, they are much more brand friendly. Fortunately, we entered into an exclusive evergreen relationship with Woolworths in South Africa, and that was a key success factor, that we could develop our shop window to the world in the local market. But that decision alone, just in the price difference of selling export quality fruit on the local market, costed us almost 150 million rand in lost income for the first 10 years. So that was a tricky one, to stick to that and develop the market. But the success stories that we now sell almost 7 million units of export quality fruit in Woolworths in the South African market at almost export parity price. That has also been key to our development, international development of the brand. All the supermarkets, all the buyers they visit, the first place they stop is Waterfront or Waterstone in Somerset West, and they visit a Woolies store. And most of you who've been to Woolies have seen how we've developed over years and really demonstrated what a proper business-to-business to the end customer brand can do. We're very proud of that. And we're also very proud that we, after all the years, won the award, the Asia Brand Award, Marketing Award last year, where we're running a very successful campaign in China. Very rewarding to be spotted within the big brands like Zespri and Pink Lady, and to come out tops.
Marketing is a key component of scaling any business and getting the positioning right. So let's focus on the customer as the starting point. How did you decide who to target?
Well, the idea of having a brand is to take the best quality fruit that you have on the farm and package it and sell it at the highest possible price. So initially our target was the high-end supermarkets like Marks and Spencer, Sainsbury, Woolworths, and to start there. But we also have a second brand, Sweet Sea. That would be the fruit with almost the same intrinsic quality, eating quality, but more blemished class 2 fruit. And that we placed into different market segments at a lower price. So price and expenditure or potential LMS like Germany is one of our key markets. They love fruit. And Spain would be less competitive, although over the years we've developed a very good market in Spain as well. But yeah, if you have a very unique product with all the intrinsic qualities that you have with ClemenGold, I would like to just stop and say, why is it possible to brand? And I think one needs to always start with a product or a service and the unique selling points around that. So the color, the easy peel, I mean, that's fantastic. And then when you peel this product, it's perfume. It's beautiful aroma. It fills the whole room. Your hands are smelling beautifully. And then you get to the inside. So after this journey through the peel, that is a pleasure, you get to the product that's seedless, beautiful soft rag. And the sugar acid balance is just fantastic. So then on top of it, the trees are very productive and it's got incredible shelf life. So all of those attributes make it extremely unique. And initially, I thought we're dealing with a niche product, which is a major underestimation of this product. Eventually, we realized that this is a high-priced new fruit category, which makes it totally different in marketing, supply and demand, and the first 12 years, branding was almost not necessary. The demand, natural demand for the fruit was such that we just couldn't supply. And often we would pitch a price and the open market would deliver a better price than what we committed to. I'm very happy that we continued. The total brand development, including promotions, and then price lost in lower prices was close to 400 million rand to get to 4 or 5 years ago. But that we almost made back in 2 years in better prices when the supply and demand situation started getting into oversupply, and yeah, then we could reap the benefits of the branding in price. But also a major advantage of the branding is that you develop relationships and you secure shelf space. And that's a key when you develop your budget and you have shelf space and you have a higher predicted price. You can actually develop your budget and cash flow and bring more security and predictability to your business.
Abe's, watching you eat that makes me wish we weren't doing this recording virtually. I can almost smell it. Your product certainly does sell itself. But before you can get a customer to engage with the product, you've got to hook them visually. So how did your team decide on the visual branding?
Fortunately, we've got a beautiful orange color. It stands out, it shouts, it talks about innovation and creativity. So the lady itself is beautiful, and we had to dress her up with the packaging. Very important, I think, is this very characteristic, we call it the teardrop label, A lot of kids collect these labels. When you walk past and the fruit doesn't have this label on, it is compostable and recyclable label. We spent lots of time to get it to that. But very important to identify your product in the packaging. But then also years and years of attending arts festivals, sponsoring musicians, above line and a lot of below line marketing activities, social media, sponsorships, attending interviews like this, traveling the world. And then perhaps the most successful is to get the customer to eat it the first time. So we had to hand out millions of fruit, get the customer to engage with the product, taste it, and if you've done that barrier in-store tastings, we just see the lift off in sales. So lots of money into the look and the feel and the presentation of the product in the supermarket, and get the customer to pick it up.
You talk about targeting this higher LSM niche audience, but of course marketing has to be adaptive to changing world conditions. How did the COVID pandemic and the subsequent focus on the health benefits of citrus change your approach to the consumer and your target audience?
Yeah, COVID first year was incredible. We saw liftoff of 30%. If you Googled vitamin C, oranges and citrus popped up #1. So that was fantastic. We've never had such a good year. We had a weak currency and strong demand. Subsequently, the whole fruit industry is in rather difficult times. As you know, interest rates have been hiked. Fuel and energy prices have gone up. Food in general, staples have gone up. So there's a lot of stress in the system at the moment. And on top of that, we've got huge increases in cost on farm, fertilizers, energy, huge increases. So the fruit industry is under severe pressure. It appears to be easing this year. We're hopeful, we're optimistic. Very important to, I would say, first of all, before you talk around the specific targeting of the customers, is to have a diverse portfolio and ability to move your fruit to different countries. For example, last year, with the start of the war in Ukraine between Russia's invasion, we took out of our budget 1.2 million cartons that would normally go to Russia. For 6 months of the season, we shipped almost nothing to Russia, and then it opened up. And within the last half, we shipped all of that fruit that we used to ship at very good prices. Fortunately for us, food and medical equipment sales to Russia is not under sanctions, and we could still trade. Difficult to get your money out there, but just to get back to the question is understanding, for example, Bangladesh, getting to understand the really what the people want to eat, what size fruit they want, and what intrinsic qualities, acid levels or sugar levels they want. And then coming back to let me just quote another example. In South Africa, the Western Cape, people that grew up in the Western Cape is inclined to eat higher acidic fruit. The people in Natal, Gauteng and the north would prefer lower acid fruit. Now, smaller fruit has got normally higher acid than larger fruit. So you would position that intrinsic qualities to cater for those markets. And fortunately, we have a lot of new technology where we could actually read a non-destructive internal quality assessment, where you can read what the sweetness and acidity level will be in the fruit. And with the grading technology, actually place it that you can cater more for the end customer. Understanding the economies, like Sri Lanka, looking at the affordability and security of your money. So you have to consider a heck of a lot before you ship. And from South Africa, it takes anything from 16 to 40 days before you reach the supermarket shelf. So you have to have information systems about what happens in the market in the short term, but also trying to understand what is happening to the end customer buying behavior. And that is not the easiest one, and you can spend a lot of money in gathering information, but also talking to your business partners in the country. You can ascertain what's happening, what the trends are. But there, I believe, maybe ChatGPT will give us more insights in the future, because normal consumer research can be very, very expensive and miss the target.
It's something that's going to get a lot of attention at this year's AAT conference, and that's the flip from supply and demand to demand and supply. So how do you regularly adapt your marketing strategy to keep up with these market pressures that change all the time, and especially to a consumer that these days is far more discerning with their buying power?
I would love to have a day to talk about this. Very exciting topic of the new technologies that is becoming available, has been available, and what we've adopted. Just to quote one example, a pack house 7 or 8 years ago, handling 20,000 tons of fruit, would have about 1,500 people in the pack house. The grading of the fruit would have been done visually, and a lot of processes would be manually. And the accuracy of that would give you a deviation of 15 to 20%. So the end product, if you want to guarantee consistent eating or look, would have a very wide range. So with new grading technology, when the graders actually in a split second would sum up what this fruit looks like internally and externally, color, blemishes, seed, black spots, wind damage, and place that fruit into a grading or a specific branded box for a specific market, was not possible 7 years ago. So that has revolutionized, I think, the fruit industry, and makes it possible to deliver that consistency. Back to the farm, we're using probes, new generation weather stations. We've developed our own apps for scouting. We call it FarmSys, developed by Citri. The pack house information systems, the business intelligence, and this we just scratching on at the moment, giving you decision-making dashboards right through the supply chain. Just getting back to farming, all your irrigation equipment, all your scouting, your farm assets, tractors, spray rigs are tracked and traced, and you can save a lot of money, you can monitor, and in the end, we would like to give the end customer visibility of what we are doing. So the integration of all these technologies makes it more likely to open up and give full transparency to the end customer where this food came from, what was sprayed on it, what the communities around it is doing, where the farm workers are working, the general condition of the farm workers, and it's a long list. So as an investor and manager, farming is perhaps one of the most difficult occupations that you have. You have to deal with so many, from the mechanical side, the entomological side, the soil and water compliance. Every supermarket has different compliance. So 7 years ago, you would walk into a pack house and you have your Tesco files and Marks and Spencer files and the Woolies files and just rooms and rooms full of files to cater for their compliance. Now we're doing what we believe is the right thing, CSA, Global Gap or ISO, and then we extract from the data and tailor make it for the supermarket with a press of a button. So I think that's revolutionary and takes a lot of burden and unnecessary administrative cost out of the system, and makes it more accurate and at the same time foolproof. It's almost like blockchain, where you can't jippo your information.
Abes, I'm so glad you bring up the role of technology in production. Over the 20-plus year lifespan of the ClemenGold brand so far, how has technology played a critical role, not only in product development, R&D, but also in how you communicate those product and brand values to the market?
I think the key for me is to give the end customer peace of mind, an enjoyable product and peace of mind. And if you don't brand, you don't have that sticker that tells the story of what you're doing. So ClemenGold, we still have lots of opportunities to take the business to the end customer into so many markets forward. So I almost said we have only started the journey after 20 years. And a new technology that's coming in, how crop prediction models, that you can have information around your product earlier in order to order your cartons, to give the customer the assurance that you have the right product for him in time. So the drones being used, the crop prediction models that people are developing, we're developing our own, but there's a lot of funds going into crop prediction. I'm sort of going back to the farm level. In order there and in the pack house and in the logistics, I think lies a lot of optimization to be done to take our products cheaper, more efficient, with more predictability and assurance to the end customer. So there's, in my opinion, still lots of efficiencies that we can bring in. And by doing that, I think when you go to your shareholder and the banking and financing sector, they're much more interested to to invest with you. So the branding to give you comfort as an investor, for the bank and for the end customer, is ultimately, it brings security, and we all would love a little bit more security in this world of uncertainty.
Abes, thank you so much for sharing the ClemenGold journey with us here at AAT. We wish you all the best for the next 20 years, and we're excited to see how this proudly South African brand continues to grow and expand across the globe.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I've thoroughly enjoyed participating, and all of the best to everybody attending the AAT Congress.